would like to invite Dr. Nu for her section.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning for everyone in Kuwait. It's 1 o'clock actually in Malaysia. So I believe the blessings of today's New Year has given you the best of things, as I was told that it's raining in Kuwait. Again, I guess that is a very good sign of a blessing. All right. Today's sessions, I think, gives you a little bit more heavy discussion because we're talking about human capital. I think all of us under the category of human, we always find that in terms of we doing a lot of work and we are doing a lot of strategic thinking, but human has always been the last in the list when it comes to incentives, because we will give incentive to robots or probably to machines for performance. So here I would like to share a little bit of my experience as a trainer, as a recruiter, and also as a, what I call consultant towards a lot of issues respect towards human. Allow me to share my slides in terms of how I believe this could be one of the solutions that probably Kuwait is facing. So I hope you can see my slides, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So my topic for today is called Productivity Link Wage Program. Now, in every aspect of our company's performance, we always look at productivity as a very important subject, especially when it talks about people wants to sustain in a longer manner and they want to make a lot of profit. In the meantime, we want to be prosper. So prosperity has always been the mind of a lot of the human resource people, right? Now, allow me to share what I believe could be a solution, all right, to some of the problems which the people are facing. So one of the things which I would like to do is, under my today's representation, I'm one of the founder of Sustainable Business Network Association Malaysia. In short, it's called SUSNET. What we believe is that when companies or SMEs or corporates or organizations or NGOs, everybody have the same problem with respect to its managing human, because at the end of the day, the human behavior is not something static. It is not something that you can really count on a standardized model. It is all customized. So in terms of how we build productivity towards having human as the most important asset of the entity, it is very important for us to look at human as how we behave and how we can address some of the issues that we are talking today. All right. So I would like to thank Mr. Shamil for inviting me for the second time for this AIHR. I would say this is one of the most important events of the year, beginning especially for 2022, when all of us have just come out from our COVID era. So we are now in the post-COVID era. So what do we do now with the human capital when we have a lot of issues at hand, when we want to enhance our productivity in the manner that we want to play catch up based on all the lost times and all the loss of productivity in the past. So here, for those who probably would like to know what is my background, so I am a certified trainer. I am a certified green project manager. I'm a certified consultant and SSO. I'm also one of the people that lead sustainability respect to its competencies, okay, respect to its certification, and also respect to its capital human talent, right? Now, on the other hand, I also like to address with the fact that we all are coming from an entity by itself, whether we are an SME, whether we are an NGO, whether we are previously in a corporate world, or whether we were previously from a bank or previously from other organizations, which can also be coming from the government. We have all the experience what it takes for us to address the coming issues. But a lot of the time, a lot of the strategy doesn't work because there's a lot of changes that's happening in the environment. There's a lot of changes that happening in the policies, whether it's the economic development or whether it's the structure of the company's economic indicators. Everything is changing in the same time we are trying to address our issues at hand, whether at home or in the office and so on. So there's a lot of robustness with respect to how you customize your policies. So here, we want to make sure that as a human resource, everybody is looking at it from the point of view of recruitment, because we always think that recruitment is the only problem which is causing a lot of the what I call a miscalculation or a lot of the misunderstanding and so on and so on. But after that, there's a lot of other things that need to be done, because productivity wise, it's not about coming from the recruitment process. It's coming from the people that has been part of your company. It's the human resource capital that you have acquired them through a very prestigious and laborious and very technology-based. By the end of the day, but what's the productivity that need to be produced? That is an element of the after effect after the recruitment. So this is what we're trying to say. Now, when everybody put a lot of time in terms of what could be the process for you to hire people, that's very much an element of, how do you bring people on board in terms of its processes. We also need to understand the human capital itself. They have their own psychological profile. They have their own performance profile. Now, how do you arrange yourself as a body or as a person that has got a lot of that talent with respect to you coming into an organization that's going through a very tedious process of hiring? By the end of the day, what is need to be captured is the amount of ability for that person to perform. Now, that has got a lot of human talent that need to be captured. Now, that gives you a lot of incentive for you to be driven to be part of that laborious process in the first place, and going into a company where at the end of the day, you want to leave. So that it's not productive at all. Yeah. So that's why we want to make sure that the process of you hiring the person, it got to be also mentioned regarding your productivity link wages right from the beginning when you do your recruitment. Okay, so this is where I'm looking at from the point of view, how do you do that? This is a process again. This is a process on how you look at your company, whether it's small, big, corporate or NGO or government, whatever. You're looking for a point of view that you're going to bring people in. So that's why you need to then understand, how do you blend the people into your policy, into your system, into your process, into the manner where you're going to measure in terms of how you perform. So all this comes with another process of after the hiring, right? So this is where once you have that process being placed on how you look at your company in terms of how you will do this productivity linked wage system, you need to then understand what are the core values of the company. Is the company involved in manufacturing? Is the company involved in services? Is the company involved in giving a lot of impact towards the system that the government has imposed, the policies and so on? So all that is bounded with the company's background, its vision, its objectives and so on. But when you want to hire, is you're hiring people. The human resource is the one that is the most capable to handle the values of your companies. But more and more, you see a lot of the values of the human capital are not measured. There's always a wrong measurement in terms of what it takes for you to measure human capital, right? Now, in any aspect of performance-based, people look at it from a point of view, how do you look at your company's profile through the SWOT analysis? I think all of you have done this exercise before, just as an example. So when you look at your current company profile right now, a lot of the time you will see that your sales margin has gone down. You are probably, you need to revive and you need to restart all over again, reboost. You need to then look at your pricing strategy and so many other things. and you look at the brain drain, because the fact that, people are leaving and you are now new hiring, it's a lot of the combination of all the issues under your SWOT analysis that you currently need to review from time to time, because this is an element of the performance that you need to track. But if you look at some of the exercises that people do, it is not static. It's a robust, because day by day, the SWOT analysis change because of competition, because of economic development, because of the competitors and the new clients and what and so on, right? So, and of course, it's internally more so you have different kind of combination of people that has been applying talent into your company, but they have been measured in a different performance, right? So this is where when you look at indicators, we look at the performance indicators of companies, it is not an easy exercise, and you can't leave it only to the human resource manager to handle this, because the person needs more than just handling the job description. If a job description is just about a job function, but we talk about productivity, it's just not about job function. It's about the whole process of the performance. So this is where you need to then understand, how do you then link the performance with your company's KPI? And most of the time, people are measuring the wrong thing. So when you measure the wrong thing, you got wrong results. And a lot of people are dissatisfied. A lot of people are demotivated, because you are not measuring the human talent. You're just measuring human in terms of time basis, in terms of productivity that is very time-based. And when we talk about time-based, more so, a lot of the time people look at manpower per hour, man per hour. And that is like a machine. And this is like an asset, like a car, like a property. And human, it's not just by man hours. Human has got talent. There's got a lot of things that they can perform, provided you know how to tap them, right? So this is where the continuous process on how you look at the KPI of human talent need to be fully understood and need to be drafted in a full manner, not in the half-baked manner. So a lot of time when you measure about a KPI, you look at percentage, you look at a lot of it in terms of financial data. But where's the values data? Yeah, values that you always will look at from the client perspective, the client's complaint. What about the internal perspective, the human capital that's inside your company that is already applying a lot of things, and they are heavily motivated by the fact that their talent are being tapped to the fullest. So you need to then understand how to address that, okay? Now, on a whole, now every country knows about the SDGs, right? Everybody knows that the world is having a problem. Now, if you are hiring a human resource capital and they do not know what is the human problem around the world, then we are not probably understanding that we are on Earth, right? So we need to then address which element that is really causing a lot of our depreciation. All right, a lot of the issues that are driving our productivity down. You look at right now, you see in Malaysia, probably once in 10 years, you will hear to see flood. But now, just a couple of few weeks ago, we got flood everywhere. People talk about climate change. It's real. People ignore. It's real. People blinded, do not want to hear the real issues. It's already happening. So if any parts of the world refuse to act, it's asking for trouble, because it is already an issue, right? So if you are talking about setting our company, be it new, young, or old, or reviving, you need to understand the elements that are already expected to change. All right, because you know the economy right now is down, and you know the environment is really causing a lot of hazards, be it for human health, be it for material health, and for whatever that's happening outside there. Don't talk about social. Social is all already being a problem, but no one knows how to address it, because it is something people don't measure. because people want to measure material because it's much more easy to handle. But people will leave it to human resource manager to handle, which is not probably the most effective way how to handle, right? Because we are talking about human capital. We're not talking about just human resource, yeah, human capital. So this is where if you want to talk about SDGs and you want to target what more, if you are already in the HR, SDG number 8, you can't ignore. SDG number 10, you can't ignore. SDG number 11, you can't ignore. They are highly, highly interrelated. Now, with the fact that we are in Kuwait right now, health has always been the recent threats. Now, what are we doing about health? If we do not take care about health, there's no productivity at all. So when you talk about productivity and you want to talk about performance, it has to tie with health, not just with the good jobs, not just with the hiring. So this is where, in terms of how we want to develop the productivity linked wage system, all these SDGs has got to come in place and to be designed, and your policy for hiring, okay? So this way, as a project manager, be it whether you are a CEO, whether you're a general manager, business owner, name it. If you're a stakeholders, you as a project manager, you know, you got to take care of almost every human that you are in contact with in terms of business perspective. Everybody that you're in contact with, you got to have a relationship, you got to understand the relationship version and what is the performance with each and every one of them and how you leverage on them. So leveraging is something that a lot of people do not know in terms of how it can be calculated under shared prosperity. All right, so these are some of the things which a lot of the time people will say, yes, we understood the issue, so how do we do it? Now, this is the how part. Many people know what, okay, when, everything about the W's. But we're talking about the H, this is the how. This is where I'm going to give you some element of tips, how are you going to address that? Okay, now these are the methodology which we believe every human are trying to resolve. Now, what is the skill that is needed when you resolve an issue? It's not the qualification alone. It's not your skill alone. It's the aspect of you looking at the ecosystem in the manner you look it in an integrated way. All right, the integration has got to come under the management of people that you manage, be it managing the product, the process, the community, the planet, and the prosperity, the economy. So this is the 5P model that we always look at when you want to look at the component of project management. All right, so each and every one of you are touched by it. It's a matter of degree, how big, how small, or to what extent you are being touched by it. But if your soul, if your purpose has got nothing to do with it, then you are just one person who's naive regarding what's happening. Right? So as a human resource manager or as a CEO, you got to link all this P5 framework to your policies of your company because it is linked towards productivity. Okay, so now each and every one of you know that ESG is coming. Now, if anybody knows about ESG, it's environmental, social governance. It is already coming to block you from entering to any business if you do not practice ESG. So this is real. Now, many people say, no, it's not coming to me, probably in another 10 years' time. It's never too late for you to change now because by the time in 10 years' time, everybody else has already left you. You are already far behind. So when you are already far behind, you can't catch up. That's why it is easier to be on the early mover advantage as compared to be a laggard where you want to delay things and procrastinate. Okay, so now under the P5, I have blocked it into the first block, which is product process, is the top block. A lot of people will always look at productivity as product process profit. And this is where they ignore the human capital, they ignore the issue of environment. But because it's already a driving factor for ESG, people need to incorporate under the P5 and the ESG is going to come in to support you. And this is where your human capital, talent, your ability to review your performance is respect towards your ESG. Now, there's the third block, which is the blue color box, which is called the prosperity. Now, prosperity is element of all the returns that you can get when you do your strategy. Now, under the project management, if you leverage a lot of people with your network, with the suppliers, with the communities, you're going to get a lot of return because the shared prosperity will come in to your blessings. So this is where, when you do your P5, you can do your productivity link wage system or program under your KPI, where you already have your performance management indicated to each and every one of the P5. It's easy as ABC. But of course, if you do not know how to do it, it's a matter of you getting trained. If not, you will not know how to do it. Now, once you have that shared prosperity element, you can then see whether you turn left, you turn right, you turn up, down, you would get to see the motivation element of things to be done. That's where we can have work together as a team to help solve the planet issues. And this is where, when you look at resource management is just about material. It's about how human behave with that material. When human misbehave with that material, it becomes wasted. And if the human do not use the waste again, it becomes even more wasted. So this is where, under the circular economy, if you use our talent and you use it as part of your productivity link system in your company, you got a lot to save, you got a lot to reduce in terms of your waste management, plus you got a lot of things to handle when it comes to rewards for your employee who have given a lot of improvement in your system and all, right? So for those people who probably do not understand that now it's not about time machine. We are not looking at the traditional way of looking at projects. We're looking in a manner that you have to look at it from this sustainability point of view. All right, everybody knows about sustainability, but how do you do it? To become that exceptional project management, you need to have the element of balancing up the P5 element in terms of how you look at risk, how you look at benefit, and how you juggle it with the society, the planet, and the economy. That is the secret of the P5, right? Now, for those who are already having a lot of international network and they are already in compliance towards how the world is going to perform, other than COVID, the next challenge is ESG. Now, are people ready about this? I am sure a lot of people will say, no, we are not ready. So that doesn't mean you cannot prepare yourself. Under the P5, this is where we will align our P5 with the United Nations Global Compact principles and the GRI G4 principles, where we can then review your reporting in terms of how you look at your performance in terms of the P5, and then you look at your ability to perform with your human capital in a much more bigger manner. Okay, so as a tip, how do you do your productivity link? This is where you use the element of the P5, you identify the risk, you look at the SWOT analysis, you look at the benefits, you look at how you want to reward the people who are going to be part of your company in terms of incentive, bonus, and recognition, that you work together with the community and the planet. That's an integration, a recipe by itself, right? So, and then you then start to see the leadership skill. You start to see the communication skill. You start to see the employees are going to give back more than just the time of them spending their man hours in your place. You start to see your profit because they change their behavior, right? So from there, when you want to embrace the productivity link, you start to plan it. Now that it's in January, you set your marks, and then in February, you improve on it. By the end of this year, by December, you already got it all implemented and you can get the full results in place. All right. So what it takes for you to be part of this PLWS is, of course, you need to know how to do it. That is a training. That is an upskill opportunity for your human resource capital, your CEO, your group managers, your general managers, to understand how do you integrate the company KPI with the performance proposal with respect towards the P5. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to continue, but I know time is always a factor. I would love to share with you on how to do this program with a 2+1 days online training with us so that we can give a set of completion and also other certificate of sustainability practice if you were to engage in our 3 months mentoring program and coaching under our productivity link wage program. And this is where my offer to you in Kuwait to ensure that more and more people come on board to use the P5 framework as part of your productivity link, because we got more to share, more to do, and more to improve in terms of how we live in this world and be part of the community, be it anywhere around the world. So this is my last slides. I would like to thank everyone, for all of you. In Malaysia, the word thank you is terima kasih. And I hope we all can help do our little bit of how we want to make human resource as the most important asset in the company and be engaged with a program that can incentivize the human capital, whether it's within the company or outside the company, so that you can give the best of the human potential to all the other people around the world. Thank you very much. Over to you, Shamil.
Thank you.